Objectives for today: to solve volume problems involving multiple 3D objects. Example number 1. You have a box here which you're being told ahead of time is a cube. It will be a cube, and with a cube all sides are the same. So in this cube we're going to have 8 centimeters. If that side is 8 centimeters, every edge of the cube is 8 centimeters. Now if this is a cone here on the inside that has a radius at the top, if the distance all the way across that box is 8, what would the radius be? 4, yes. The radius will be half the distance across the box. So that radius is 4 centimeters that you have to figure out. The purpose of the problem is to find the volume of the red region. To find the volume of the red region, you have to first find the volume of the cube. And the formula for the volume of a cube is LWH, length, width, and height. So it would be 8 times 8 times 8. That will give us 512 centimeters cubed. The next step to finding the red region is to find the volume of the cone. And the volume of the cone is pi r squared h. So you start with pi and then times r squared, that's 4 squared, and then times the height of the cone. What is the height of the cone? How tall is the cone? 8, yes. And then we have to simplify a little bit. There's going to be a 16 times 8. 16 times 8 is 128, and you have to multiply that by pi. When you do that, you come out with 402. Whoops, there should be no decimal point there. 402.123 and some change. To find the red region, you must start with the volume of the cube and subtract the volume of the cone. A trick to doing this in the calculator is to leave what you have in the calculator before you press anything else. And then type 512 and then minus, and then hit the second negative sign key. And it'll bring up ANS, which stands for the last answer you had in your calculator. And when you hit enter, you should come back with 109.88 centimeters cubed. Volume is cubed. Round to the hundredths place. Another example. This box is going to have a side of 10 inches, and it will state ahead of time that it is a cube. Now if one side is 10 inches, what is the radius for the cone? 5 inches. What do we have to find first? The cube. The volume of the cube is first, and that's length, width, height. So 10 times 10 times 10 would be 1,000 inches cubed for the volume of the cube. Then we have to find the volume of the cone. And the formula for the volume of the cone is pi r squared h. So we have pi. R is 5, so we have to square it. What's the height of the cone? 10. Height of the cone is 10 because the height of the box is 10. Okay, so that comes out to be pi times 25 times 10, which is pi times 250. Pi times 250 is going to give us 785.398 and some change. Now to figure this out, leave that answer in your calculator and then type in 1,000 minus and then hit second negative sign. It'll draw up that last answer you had so you don't have to type it in. Hit enter, and let's see, what we did here was 1,000 minus 785 and some change from the calculator. You should get 214.60 inches cubed if you round to the hundredths place. Practice problem. You have a cone inside of a cube, and this cube has a side length of 12 yards. Find the volume of the red region. The solution for this problem, first we have to find the radius of the cone, and it's half of the distance across the cube. So it's going to be 6 yards. And the height of the cone is going to be 12 yards. Now the volume of the cube, that's going to be length, width, height, and that is 12 times 12 times 12. That will give us an answer of 1728 yards cubed. And then for the cone, we have pi r squared h. Pi r squared h is going to be pi times 6 squared and then times 12. And that's going to give us pi times 36 times 12. And 36 times 12 is 432. Multiply that by pi and come out with an answer of 1357.168 and some change. To find the answer for the volume of the shaded region, you have to subtract the two numbers and leave this number from your previous answer in the calculator. Hit 1728 minus and then second negative sign, which will draw up the last answer. It should be 370.83 yards cubed. Another practice. This is a cube that has a cone inside of it, and we have a side length on the cube of 20 inches. What is the volume of the red region? Solution for the practice problem. First find the radius, which is half of the distance across the cube. That'll be 10 inches. And the height of the cone will be 10 inches. Oh, I'm sorry, not 10 inches, but 20 inches. Now find the volume of the cube, which is going to be LWH. That'll be 20 times 20 times 20. That will give you an answer of 8,000 inches cubed. Now find the cone, which is pi r squared h. So pi times 20 squared. That's not 20 squared, that should be 10 squared. 10 squared, and then times 20. So that would be pi times 100 times 20, and 100 times 20 is going to be 2,000. So 2,000 times pi, and we come back with 6283.185 and some change. Leave that in the calculator and subtract it from 8,000. That would happen by doing 8,000 first minus second answer key to draw up the last answer, and you should end up with 1716.81 inches cubed. Another example. This time you have a pyramid inside of a cube, and this cube has a side length of 8 meters. Find the volume of the red region. First find the cube, and we've already done that before. Instead of LWH on a cube, you can just do S cubed, which stands for side. So 8 cubed is going to give us 512. For a pyramid, what you need is this: LWH divided by 3. Now the height of the pyramid is the height of the cube, and the length and the width of the pyramid is the length and the width of the cube. So you end up with essentially the 512 from before, but you divide this by 3. And that comes out to be 170.66 repeating on out. So we're going to have 512 and then minus 170.66 and some change. Do 512 in your calculator, hit minus, and then second answer, or second negative sign. And it comes out to be 341.33, and that would be meters cubed. Another example. We have a pyramid inside of a cube, and the cube has a side length of 10 centimeters. Find the volume of the red region. So for the cube, it's just one side cubed, S cubed. So that would be 10 to the third power, which is 1,000. And that's centimeters cubed. For the pyramid, it's really simple because the formula is LWH over 3, which means you're going to get the same thing on top here as you had for the volume of the cube. So 1,000 divided by 3. And that comes out to be 333.33 repeating. So to find the volume of the red region, it's 1,000 minus 333.33 repeating. In your calculator, type 1,000 and then minus the previous answer, and you should come out with 666.67 centimeters cubed. Practice problem. We have a pyramid inside of a cube, and the cube has a side length of 16 inches. What is the volume of the red shaded region? The solution for the practice problem is, for the volume of a cube, you should have S cubed, which is 16 cubed, and that will come out to be 4096, and that's inches cubed. For a pyramid, the formula is LWH over 3, which is essentially this number, 4096 divided by 3. And you should get 1365.3 repeating on that. So what you're going to do is 4096 minus 1365.3 repeating. And let's see here, 4096 minus second answer, 2730.67 inches cubed. Practice problem. This is a pyramid inside of a cube, and the cube has a side of 4 meters. Find the volume of the red shaded region. The solution for the practice problem: find the volume of the cube. That should be side cubed, which is 4 cubed, and that is 64 meters cubed. The pyramid, that is LWH over 3, which is really this, over 3. And 64 divided by 3 is going to be 21.3 repeating. So 64 minus 21.3 repeating comes out to be 42.67 meters cubed. Example. You have a cone inside of a cylinder, and the two formulas are going to be similar. First, you have to have a height, in this case it's 10 meters, and a radius, which is going to be 4 meters. Find the volume of the cylinder first. And the cylinder is going to be pi r squared h. And then you're going to have to do pi times r squared, which is 4 squared, and then times 10. So that comes out to be 160 pi. And then of course you have to simplify that in a little bit, but I'm going to skip to the cone in the interest of time since we're running out of time. The formula for the volume of a cone is pi r squared h divided by 3. So in this case it's similar to the last one. Once you find the first one, you already know the other one. So we know that we came up with 160 pi from the last one, and we divide it by 3 in this case. So in your calculator, you can work it out with parentheses, whatever you need to do, to figure this one out minus this one. And in your calculator, if you do 160 times pi first, you're going to come up with 502.65 and some change. Just leave it in there. Hit minus, but put a left-hand parenthesis around your next part, which is 160 pi divided by 3, and then another right-hand parenthesis. And you should come up with a final answer of 335.10 meters cubed. Again, in your calculator, find this first and get an answer. Leave that answer in your calculator and hit minus, and then put a left-hand parenthesis and type in 160 pi divided by 3, and then put in a right-hand parenthesis, and then hit enter, and you should come back with this if you round it.